Hi, my name is Tracy Max Sachs, and today I'm going to talk about the differences between edge tuning for speed skis and edge tuning for traditional alpine downhill and super G racing. Speed skiing is the fastest non-motorized sport on Earth. A speed skier can go from 0 to 125 miles an hour in less than 10 seconds. So if you can imagine, the edge preparation is pretty critical. You wouldn't want to catch an edge going over 100 miles an hour. My fastest crash actually is at 212 kilometers an hour, or about 132 miles an hour. So that's pretty fast. You can imagine kind of getting flung out of a car on the Autobahn going 132 miles an hour. When I crashed, I had no car around me, so that's pretty much what it felt like. Before we get started, I'm going to show you a quick video of my friend Klaus Strassheimer from Speed Ski Austria. Unfortunately, at a race in Sun Peaks, Canada, he had a little mishap. Take a look.
Next racer on course, for Team Austria, Klaus Strassheimer!
Oh my God. Nice save.
152.68 for Klaus Strassheimer.
That was a close call, wasn't it? Okay, so now we're going to get started with the edge preparation. But first I'd like to give you an idea of how long my skis are. This is a pair of real speed skis. Men and women use the same skis, same length, same weight. And as you can see, I'm only 5'3" and these skis are 8 feet long. They don't even stand straight up in my garage here. So they're pretty much a lot to take care of. So the traditional length for speed skis is 238 centimeters up to 240 centimeters. I'm going to start with my base bevel, and I like to go ahead and start with a 1.5 degree bevel. And I do this across the whole ski despite the fact that I'm going to detune a good portion of the ski after. The reason I do the whole ski at 1.5 is so that I know everything's really precise when I get started with my detuning process. So I'm going to go ahead and use this precision base file tool, and I'm going to gently start taking down the edge, and as I go I can see that my bevel is starting to, when I make each additional pass, I can see that my bevel is starting to go right into the base of the ski. So I'll do this until the bevel is the same all the way across the length of the ski. And again, you don't want to put too much pressure. Let the file do the work. And I take short passes at first to get the bulk of my material off. And then I'll go and make one nice long pass. Smooth everything out. And before I detune, I'm actually going to put a side bevel on the ski. So I'm going to take this out of my big vise here, stick the ski up on end. When I start edge filing, I'm going to use a very aggressive file for the edge because I have a lot of material to take off. In speed skiing, a lot of us like to make our edges a little bit narrower. The metal of the ski is kind of slow, so one of the reasons for kicking up the base bevel is to get that metal off of the snow. In addition, if we take down the amount of side edge we have, that also makes the ski a little bit faster. When you're, on the podium and you're winning races or losing races by 0.01, this can make the difference. Every little bit makes a difference, so everything combined makes a difference. So I'm gently going along the ski and taking off quite a bit of material here. And with each pass, I'm going to clean that extra metal off the ski. We don't want it getting into the bases. And I'll brush it out of my file. I'll take a second pass. And this is taking off a lot of material. And then I'm going to go to a finer file. And we put that on the same way. Use our little clamp here. And the file that I'm using now is still taking off material, but it's making the edge smoother. It's kind of like a little polish. We're going to go up and up the edge from the regular file to a diamond file, and then finally with the gummy stone. I'll just write that down. Let's give it one more long pass. Give it another wipe. And now I'm going to do my final pass with my diamond file. And I can give it one more pass. And then I'll take my gummy stone and I'll go over the whole thing. As I said before, this ski is 8 feet long, and I'm going to detune the first 2.5 feet, and then I'm going to leave this center section about 3 feet. And the reason I leave this is because we ski on very steep slopes, and when you go out to the racetrack, you need a little bit of edge to get there. If our track, for example, is at a 50-degree angle, that's pretty steep, and you want a little bit of edge just so that you can control your start a little bit. So I'll go to the back of the ski and I'll detune the last 2 feet or so, 1.5 feet. So we start at the tip, and this you want to do with any ski. Really round this out in the front, because you really don't want to be crossing your tips or catching edges on any kind of ski, no less a speed ski. But what I like to do is, it's a pretty organic way of filing, but I don't just go across the edge and make it round. I like to just put a nice angle on it. I use my 2 fingers and I go from start to finish, and I just keep a nice 2-finger height all the way across, and I make this edge detuned all the way down to just about the tip of the binding again, as I said before, because we're going to leave this section in here sharp so that we can control the start. And I will file this until I feel that it's sufficiently detuned. And then of course I do all the other edges on both skis. We don't, like in downhill you might have one race edge and one training edge. We don't really do that in speed skiing. Some people might if they feel like they ski on edge a lot. Sometimes there gets to be base burn after a while on your edges, but I like to kind of control that with my waxing. So I'll put a harder wax on the edges of my skis so that I don't get too much base burn. So this is nice and not sharp anymore, which is great, so we won't catch any edges on this. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm not going to finish out the ski for you, but then I would go from the tail of the binding to the end of the ski. And then after that, I actually will take my diamond file, and I'll go back over it with my diamond file, and I'll use that same 2-finger angle. Now you might ask, well, why doesn't she just make a block that's the right angle? I find that the base material on the speed skis is very sensitive and it makes scratches, and I would rather just leave the structure in good condition and use my hand, because my hand's not going to make any scratches on the material of the base. You can wear gloves. I have pretty dry hands, so I don't touch the surface of my ski with my fingers. It's just the back of my hand, so I'm not getting any oil for my hands on the skis. So I'll just go over this until that's finished, and then I go again with my gummy stone all the way down the ski. And this time I will cross over the area under the foot of the binding. And the reason for this is that we don't want it too sharp. So you can even go over this section with a diamond, but you don't want it too round either. So you have to decide what's best for yourself. Now the big difference, as you can see, in speed ski preparation and downhill or super G preparation is that we detune a good portion of the ski. In downhill and super G, obviously you need that extra edge sharpness so that you can make your nice big round turns and make it all the way to the bottom in one piece. It's kind of an opposite theory for speed skiing, but that's the way we do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and I'll leave you with a couple more videos from my friends Ismail Deven from Switzerland and Daniel Persson from Sweden.
Stop course, coureur tombé, stop course. C'est bon, course stoppée.
I'd like to thank Valentine for providing the video of Klaus, and also thank Ismail and Daniel for sharing their videos with you. And I hope you've enjoyed the work that I've showed you today. So ski fast and be safe.